So the Indiana Fever have a player that is potentially coming over on an unbelievable deal. I don't know what way the rookie contracts work. I don't know what way it works with like her, Awakuir, Lou Lopez Seneschal, she's still on a rookie deal anyway. But I don't know what the story is when players take breaks in the middle of the rookie deal. Like, do they come back on the rookie deal? Like, I know Temi did. I don't know if Kristy Wallace is a reserve free agent, which means the Fever basically get her on a minimum, or whether or not she's still on that rookie deal at 80K. If she's still on the rookie deal at 80K, Kristy Wallace could be one of the best contracts in the league. And Kristy Wallace is coming off an MVP season. She has just had an MVP season in New Zealand, in a league with plenty of WNBA talent. And she was All-Star 5 and it was an MVP in New Zealand. It's just not a terrible league. Her contract, 700K is converted to 250K. I don't know necessarily if what way the contracts work with that. It could be. But either way, on a minimum deal, Kristy Wallace is fine. Like, when Kristy Wallace left the Fever, it wasn't like, obviously it was for non-basketball reasons, but a lot of people were happy, and I think kind of rightfully so, but like, Kristy Wallace isn't a terrible basketball player. It was just madness that Kristy Side started her and was giving Lexi Hull DMPs. That is kind of my big problem with the whole Kristy Wallace scenario. Nothing necessarily to do with Kristy Wallace, because Kristy Wallace was okay. She was fine. Like, she was a okay rotational piece who may give you 10 minutes one game and may not play the next game. Who was a bang average defender who shot the three sometimes. And in fairness to her, like, she didn't shoot well in 2024, but in her other two seasons in the WNBA, she shot 37% and 43.5% from three. It was literally just, she couldn't buy a bucket. She was missing wide open threes, and then she was struggling with layups. Albeit, she had, if you look at her last game, she had 17 points and a half. And there were games she was good. I think she had 10 in one of those Chicago games earlier on in the year. She was okay. Like, she came off the bench for a couple of games. It was just when she got brought in as a starter, it just never made sense. It never made sense her getting big minutes. And then in things like this win here against the Phoenix Mercury, they were so much better when she was on the bench. She started and only played 6 minutes against the New York Liberty. And her starting spot was taken by Katie Lou Samuelson at one stage. And look, the Indiana Fever were better when she wasn't on the floor. But that being said, it was just a case of, like, she was playing too many minutes. Kristy Wallace is an absolutely fine addition for the Indiana Fever. If Kristy Wallace wants to come back, I will take Kristy Wallace back with open arms, as long as there's no expectation of being a starter. Like, she'll be 30 years old next season. And if she comes in as a 11th player, because she can play a little bit of the point, she can play a little bit of the two, she can play a little bit of the three, like, she can hit some shots, she can kind of defend. Like, you're probably not going to get that much better, especially with the way WNBA teams are going now. Like, because there's only a 160K difference between the max and the minimum, or 140K difference, 120K, sorry, between the non-supermax max and the vet minimum. In the past, what you were seeing was a lot of players just saying, you know what, like, if I go to a good team on the minimum, I'm going to make that 120K. I'm going to make, say, the 40K extra I get paid by somewhere in the middle in endorsements or in something else. Teams aren't doing that anymore. Players aren't doing that anymore. What's going to happen now is that there's going to be a lot less max contract players, and there's going to be a lot less good players playing on the minimum. Kristy Wallace is going to be a fine player playing on the minimum. Like, you're going to get a 5 out of 10 performance from Kristy Wallace every single time she sets foot on the floor. But, like, I'm okay with a 5 out of 10 performance if we're paying her the minimum. Like, I'm absolutely fine with Kristy Wallace coming back. I am so okay with Wallace coming back. Like, I watched little bits of the 2023 team, and she didn't look terrible. Like, we know Lexi Hull is ahead of her in the pecking order. There is a good chance that she gets taken in the expansion draft. And look, if that happens, fair play. Like, if that happens, she's gone. But like, the Fever aren't going to be able to afford to bring everybody back. Like, if they bring back, what my assumption is, they're going to bring back Sophie, Lexi, Kelsey, Caitlin, Aaliyah, and after that, and KK. After that, I don't know. I don't know if Ari comes back, because I think Ari's gonna make half a max contract somewhere which the Fever can't afford to pay her. I think Odyssey Sims is gonna make good money again. Fever won't be able to afford to pay Odyssey Sims. I think all of these things are like, make it really tough for the Fever to run it back exactly. And I think when it comes to these like end of bench slots, like, you're not going to go out with 11 players again. That was pointless. And is Kristy Wallace a better player than Chloe Bibby? Maybe. It might end up coming down to that. First of all, if Kristy Wallace comes back, the Fever have to take her. Like, she is on, if I'm not, maybe not. I think she might have another year on a guaranteed deal with the Fever. But I don't know what way the money works. They might have to take her. But if they do, I'm okay with that. I think she's of a comparable level to Chloe Bibby. And if you're saying, oh, she's not a comparable player, lads, Kristy Wallace was starting 5 for Australia at the Olympics. Chloe Bibby didn't make the roster. And that was a year ago. Chloe Bibby, if Australia bring their proper team, Chloe Bibby doesn't make the roster, Kristy Wallace might start. Like, they are, in Australia, Wallace is considered the better player. So I don't hate this. Do not hate it. She's playing well overseas. Well, not even overseas. Well, yeah, she's playing in New Zealand. So pretty much, I'll say it like she's, it's not in Australia. So it is technically overseas for her. She's playing well in, again, where she's playing. I don't know if the Fever have considered her in the Fever overseas, even though she's not even though some of the players from last year are literally unrestricted free agents. But like, I still thought she was at least an equivalent of Katie Lou Samuelson. I think she's going, like, if she's an end the bench player, you know she's going to be a safe enough pair of hands. You know she's going to be a competent defender. You know she's going to hit a couple of shots, and she's coming off a good season where confidence is going to be back. And look, as long as the Kristy side situation, where Stephanie White doesn't just start randomly playing her major minutes, as long as that doesn't start happening, Kristy Wallace is going to be a completely fine member of the Indiana Fever. Again, nothing special. No, like, she's not going to be somebody that's going to come in and start. But I'd be perfectly fine with her just being on the roster because, again, you need bodies. In basketball, you need a lot of bodies. And I think she is somebody that will at least give you a solid performance most of the time. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.